another awesome flat Earth test. This one comes from the Netherlands. I'd like to thank Timon, who conducted the test. The target of the observation was the Burj Mawson, which looks like this.
So the top picture is from the observation. So remember this. Remember that gap there between the wheelhouse and the smokestack.
The ship was being tracked on the website marinetraffic.com. Here, I have plotted the observation on Google Earth. The camera height was at 16.4 feet, and the distance to the target ship was 34.6 miles, or 30.1 nautical miles. The heading to the boat was at 311 degrees. Here was the tracking of the ship on marinetraffic.com. The distance was 34.6 miles, and the heading was 311 degrees. That puts the Burj Mawson in front of the setting sun at 311 degrees, as shown on timeanddate.com. The Burj Mawson has a maximum draft below the water surface of 62 feet. The total hull height would be 1.7 times the maximum draft, which gives us a total hull height of 105.4 feet. You subtract the average draft of 42 feet from the hull height of 105.4 feet, and you get a visible hull height of 63 feet. In other words, the height from the waterline to the top of the hull would be close to 63 feet. According to the globe, at a distance of 34.6 miles and an observation height of 16.4 feet, 587 feet or 179 meters should be hidden behind the Earth bulge. That means the supposed Earth's curvature would block over 9 of these visible holes stacked on top of each other. And that's assuming a perfectly smooth ball with no waves or swells obstructing the boat at the geometric globe horizon.
I will show the details of Roohif's supposed debunk, but I'm going straight to the crescendo so I could point out his obvious horseshit along the way. Now, Roohif, I'm starting to see you're doing this shit on purpose, man. Maybe it's just your love for the globe, but I don't think you are intentionally deceptive, but it's starting to seem that way, Roohif. You left out the angular size math, and when I ran the numbers, I see exactly why you did that, so I'm going to point that out.
So after we've fixed all the fuck-ups, we can see whether this observation matches the globe. So we've got an approximate observer height of around 45 feet. That's assuming the guy doesn't have X-ray vision to see through the dirt. And we've found the actual ship that he's looking at, and according to the tracking data, it's only 16.35 miles away. So let's go plug it into the curve calculator, and we get a refracted hidden of 32 feet. Okay, so according to marine traffic, the ship is 229 meters long, and when you scale it against the height, you get a height of 13.2 meters or 43 feet for the hull. Now, obviously, that ignores the current draft of the boat, but it's a reasonable ballpark figure. All right, so we're seeing a little bit of the hull, maybe 5 feet or so, and
Of course 5 feet or so, Roohif, because that 5 feet or so makes it exactly fit your globe, bro. This never gets old, man.
And given the uncertainty in the draft, the uncertainty in the viewer height, I'm going to say that the prediction of 32 feet hidden means that the globe has miraculously somehow survived yet another rubbish observation courtesy of Taboo Conspiracy.
And ta-da! There you have it again, folks. Another flat Earth proof that matches the globe down to the foot. Compliments of Roohif. It never gets old, people. This is hilarious. So, this video is basically the anatomy of a Roohif debunk. You know, it wouldn't be as bad, Roohif, if you left out the slanderous gaslighting of Taboo Conspiracy. This just like compounds it. Makes you look like a dick, man. Now here's a picture and the details of the Vitality, which passes in front of the Burj Mawson. So remember that, it's 90 meters long. Seen enough Roohif videos to know that he loves to include the ½ degree angular size of the sun and the size of objects relative to that ½ degree, but he leaves that out of this video. So I ran the numbers and I'm going to show you exactly why he left that information out. So let's go ahead and show what Roohif conveniently left out. So we convert the 34 miles to feet, and then we convert the 229 meters to feet. So we're all on the same scale. We run the numbers in the triangle calculator, and we get an angular size of the Berge-Mawson of 0.24 degrees, which is about almost half of a sun width. Then we run the numbers with the Berge-Mawson at 16 miles, and we get a angular size of 0.509 degrees. So if the Berge-Mawson is 16 miles away, it should be roughly the same width of the sun. If it's 34 miles away, it should be about half the width of the sun. So let's see which one fits the description. So there's its smokestacks in the back. You can still see them. This is like the last point you can see them. And you see it's about half the size of the sun. So this is why Roohif left out that information. And this is the part that I thought was pretty deceptive there, Roohif.
The first issue is that according to Google Earth, this point has an elevation of 5 meters below sea level. Now that in itself isn't a red flag because a lot of land in the Netherlands is actually below mean sea level. But it does mean that the viewer height definitely needs to be verified. And if you go into Street View at that location, you'll see that there's a big problem. A big, great heap of dirt is in the way. Now it's quite difficult to assess just from Street View how high that is, but my rough guess is it's about 25 to 30 feet higher than the road level.
There is so much wrong with this. For starters, Roohif, how the hell you get 25 to 30 feet? You think that road's 50 foot wide or something? It's ridiculous. And when flat earthers give you a height when they're right by the water, they're giving you a height above the water, bro. The sea level, mean sea level, and all that shit is irrelevant, man.
And thanks to Amsterdam Ordnance Datum, called Normal Amsterdam Peel, or NAP, we can see that there are 4 survey marks very close by. And they all show that the road level is around about 5.3 meters.
Now, Google Earth said it was 5 meters below sea level. So that means Google Earth is off by like 10.5 meters. So why would you take any other information from Google Earth as gospel down to the foot?
Or 17 feet. So that's already higher than the viewer height given by the dude in the video, and it's not even taking into account the big mound of dirt. So unless he has footage showing otherwise, we have to assume that he is on the hill up with the wind turbines, and I'm going to give him an observer height of 45 feet.
So here's Roohif scrounging for feet again, just scrounging up as much as he can, making the hill 30 feet, and making where the guy's doing an observation relative to the height of the damn road. Of course you put it at 45 feet, Roohif. That makes it match your globe perfectly. So it's just more of the same. Just another bullshit Roohif debunk video where he gets the globe prediction in advance and starts scrounging up feet, moving location, doing whatever necessary to get the height that matches the globe.
Stellarium, and the green path is the path of the Berge-Mawson, which as you can see does indeed cross the path of sunset. But was it the Berge-Mawson? Well, like I said a minute ago, identifying the ship that you can see in the foreground could give us some clues. So there are a stack of ships in the middle of the screen there, obviously at anchor, waiting to go into port. And there are also a stack of ships closer to the observer that passed in front. And it took a while, but the ship that passes in front is called the Vitality. And that silhouette is a near perfect match. So let's see where the Vitality was right on sunset. Alrighty, so this is the path of that ship. There are actually only 2 data points around the time of sunset, one at 7:47 and the other one at 8:18. So I've assumed a constant speed between those 2 points and interpolated where the ship would be at 8:07 p.m. UTC, which is the time of sunset given by timeanddate.com in Taboo's video. I've also interpolated a time for when the ship passes the line of sight to the sunset. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where Taboo's problems start.
I would say this is more like where your horse shit starts, Roohif. I'm just saying, man.
Number 1, if Taboo's buddy is where he says he was, which we've already demonstrated that he wasn't, then he is not lined up with the Vitality and the sunset.
Oh, yeah, you're referring to that sunset where you didn't measure the angular size of the sun. That sunset, Roohif, where you didn't get the angular size?
In fact, this blue line is almost 3.5 degrees further to the right than the azimuth of the sunset. And that's 7 sun widths. So it's much more likely the dude that took the footage was a bit further east. So I've had a bit of a guess at where he was, which is the place mark on the right. And then I've drawn a new line to the sunset and had a look at what ships were near it. And what do you know? If I follow that new line, it runs right into this ship, the Athena L, which was one of those ships just hanging around waiting to go into port. And just for completeness, here's a picture of the Athena L from marine traffic compared to a still shot from Taboo's video.
Good try, buddy, but you got a glaring problem. There's no gap between the wheelhouse and the smokestack. See that? There should be a gap right there. See the gap? See the sun in between the two? That means there's a gap, Roohif. But good try, buddy.
And it looks like there's just a tiny little bit of the hull that's visible above the horizon.
So once again, we see the sun, and here's Taboo. There's the Burge Morrison. You see the gap. And there you see the gap. So, see? Gap, gap. That's a perfect match. Yours doesn't match, Roohif. See there? Gap, no gap. So between the angular size of the sun not matching, the boat's not matching, you're dead in the water, Chief.
All right, so after we've fixed all the fuck-ups, we can see whether this observation matches the globe. So we've got an approximate observer height of around 45 feet. That's assuming the guy doesn't have X-ray vision to see through the dirt. And we've found the actual ship that he's looking at, and according to the tracking data, it's only 16.35 miles away. So let's go plug it into the curve calculator, and we get a refracted hidden of 32 feet. Okay, so according to marine traffic, the ship is 229 meters long, and when you scale it against the height, you get a height of 13.2 meters or 43 feet for the hull. Now, obviously, that ignores the current draft of the boat, but it's a reasonable ballpark figure. Right, so we're seeing a little bit of the hull, maybe 5 feet or so, and given the uncertainty in the draft, the uncertainty in the viewer height, I'm going to say that the prediction of 32 feet hidden means that the globe has miraculously somehow survived yet another rubbish observation courtesy of Taboo Conspiracy.
And there you have it, folks. The anatomy of a lame-ass Roohif debunking video. So, to put it in perspective, he had to triple the viewer height and double the viewer distance, and it still failed. So, epic globe fail. But if you want to support me, I got an up-and-coming test coming soon. There's 2 ways to do so on screen. Thank you for watching.